go. What's up, everybody? Evan here for Grips.com, continuing with Project Get Me Stackin. So today's question comes from Dan, and he is curious about learning and playing games other than No Limit Hold'em. He says he's been watching the channel for a couple of years and has had great progress. Gives a big thank you, so thank you to you as well, Dan. He says in the last couple of weeks, he started playing a lot more Omaha, specifically high-low and Courchevel on PokerStars, and he really enjoys Courchevel because both it is new to him and he has had really good results compared to No Limit Hold'em, but he doesn't want to be results-oriented. He searched the internet for tips, tools, EV calculators to get better knowledge about the game and found very little info on Courchevel, which makes sense. The game is very new. And so he wants to know a few things. One, what do I think about Courchevel and any other variants of poker other than the good old Hold'em? Two, should he try his best to learn to get a serious edge on his opponent, or do I think it's just a gambling game and he should stick with no limit since that's where the big money is? And three, if he should continue to learn this game, do I know any good sites, tools, or books that can help him? So I want to begin by saying, Dan, I think it is awesome that you are venturing out and trying to learn and get into something a little different than what the mainstream and the rest of the crowd is doing. I think that's very cool, and I respect that a lot. My personal thoughts about Courchevel, I've only played it during some tournament series, but I think it's a great game. It's got lots of action and it's a lot of fun. For anyone who is unfamiliar with Courchevel, it is basically the same as Omaha, 5-card Omaha. So you get 5 cards and you have to use 2 cards from your hand and 3 cards from the board to make your 5-card poker hand. The difference between Courchevel and 5-card Omaha is that in Courchevel, after you're dealt your cards, the first card from the flop, the first community card, is also dealt out and exposed. So you can see what 20% of the board is going to be before you get involved pre-flop. So, yeah. My personal thoughts, if you enjoy it, then do it, okay? There's nothing wrong with making your primary game something different than what the crowd's doing. In fact, it's great. By specializing in a game that's not popular, you will have a few big money-making opportunities. You may not have the same volume of cash games that are available by playing No Limit, but when you do find a cash game, it's probably going to be much less competitive, which is a big benefit. But the big money-making opportunities are going to come in the form of online series, like when the W Coupe or the Scoop or the T Coupe or F-Tops or Mini F-Tops or any of those things rolls around. There will typically be an event in these, strange, weird, mixed games. And if you know how to play that, you're going to have a really good spot. Especially in the Scoop, these events are actually pretty big, and you'll get a lot of people playing them who kind of know how to play or don't really know how to play, but they're just playing the event because they're going for the leaderboard. They know enough about tournament strategy. They think they'll do fine. And if you know this game cold, that's going to give you a chance to make a lot of money, especially because the buy-ins for these can be pretty significant. Building on top of that, live tournament series like the World Series of Poker or the European Poker Tour often have events with these other games as well. And also those are fairly significant buy-in events. Building on that, at the World Series of Poker in particular, if you know how to play these mixed games, these less common, these less popular games, you will have a better chance to get a bracelet in those events because the fields are much smaller than the no limit events. And again, if you know your stuff cold and you're on the forefront of learning this game, you're going to have a wealth of knowledge that the other players just don't have because they probably didn't spend the same time studying it. They just played it because it was in a dealer's choice game, which brings me to the third opportunity for making money is when you do play in a home game that involves dealer's choice. When it's your turn, you can pick this game that you're great at, that other people aren't so great at, and potentially make a lot of money. I really like the idea of focusing on Courchevel and Omaha in particular because they are big bet, big action games. The more cards people get, the more they will feel that they can get involved in the action, when often the opposite is true, that you should play tighter when you have more cards. But these games that attract a lot of gambly types, gamblers, and have a lot of action are going to be the ones that eventually are played for the biggest money. So games like Omaha 8 or better, and Courchevel and split pot games where there are more cards and more ways to win attract more action and attract the kind of players that you probably want to be playing with. Okay, so either way, talking about that, poker's supposed to be fun. At the end of the day, poker's supposed to be fun. And if you enjoy playing a game that's not No Limit Hold'em, or No Limit Hold'em just makes you want to go fucking sleep, then don't play No Limit Hold'em. You should play whatever game it is that you enjoy, because if you're getting the most pleasure out of the experience, the most enjoyment out of the experience, you're going to be just benefiting yourself and your life more. Okay? Because it's all about getting benefit and getting value from playing these games. And if that's the one you love, then do it, man. I think that's awesome. And don't worry about the fact that there may not be as much action in Courchevel as there is in No Limit. Remember, back in the day, people were just playing stud. Stud was the game, and then No Limit came around, and now Omaha's coming around. And these new games like Courchevel may pick up steam and become the games of the future. Those may be the games that everyone's playing down the road, and if you're on the forefront, well, you've got many different ways that you can monetize your skills if you become an expert. Even if the action isn't great, there may be people interested in getting coaching. There may be people interested in studying the game with you. I don't know. There are lots of different ways that you can monetize down the road, so don't feel like you're sacrificing or missing out if you focus on a different game. The other benefit is that learning these other games will help your hold'em game as well, because all community card games involve similar strategies. So if you learn things about Omaha, they may apply to your No Limit Hold'em game. If you learn more things about No Limit, they may apply to your Courchevel game. They all help each other. As long as you're thinking poker and you're developing different parts of your poker game, even if it's in a specific area, your whole poker game is going to benefit from the experience. So, yeah, for sure, do it. As for resources, I don't really know because I haven't studied Courchevel that much. But first thing I would do is search for books, which I guess you've already done. And even if you can't find a hard copy book, there may be an ebook out, or there may be a book hidden somewhere on some site or on some forum that you can get. I would recommend going to 2+2. I would also recommend posting in the forums that are for mixed games that are about those and asking them if they have any insight as to where to get books. But if you can't find any books on it, the best thing you can do is study the books on similar games. So Courchevel and Omaha are extremely similar, so I would recommend studying Omaha. Find the resources on Omaha, learn about Omaha. The only thing you really need to do is change your pre-flop selection strategy based on which card is exposed, allowing you to play a lot more hands that use that community card and avoiding ones that don't. Figure out how big of an impact knowing that one card is, and having only 80% of the board be random rather than the full 100%. Also, there are going to be some training sites that will have occasional videos on mixed games. Deuces Cracked often does a lot of stuff on mixed games. I haven't seen too much on the other sites, but they will eventually come out with stuff. But in the absence of that, I would say you can just do your own math. Figure out, again, how significant that impact is, and just start threads, start discussion. Once the Grips forum's up, we can have a section for the mixed games, and as you start talking about it, as you start developing your knowledge about it, eventually you're going to find other people who are doing the same thing, who are interested in it. As soon as you start making an effort to develop your skills or your talent in that specific area, you will probably find other people who are attempting to do the same thing. And then when you get together with them, you support each other, you share your knowledge with each other, you grow a lot faster, and then you become fantastic at the game because you put in that effort on your own. So do everything you can to figure it out on your own. Draw from those resources that I mentioned in terms of similar things, and just keep practicing. Keep practicing, and you will recognize where you make mistakes and where you need to make changes. Anyway, again, Dan, I think it's fantastic that you're experimenting with mixed games. I think everyone should, at some point in their poker career, try the other games and see if there's one that suits their personality or their style better, because No Limit Hold'em isn't for everyone. It just happens to be the most popular one, so everyone does what they see being done on TV. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this episode of Project Get Me Stackin. I hope that this info helps to serve you in becoming the best poker player you can be. If you have questions for Project Get Me Stackin, please send them to questions@gripst.com. And yeah, this has been Evan for Gripst.com saying peace, patience, and progress. And until next time, happy stacking.